Hello, it's the Intuitive Empress, and I am here with our full moon in Taurus tarot forecast. The moon goes completely full on October the 24th, and we are not even halfway through Venus Retrograde. I did not do a moon message for the new moon in Libra, and I was really under the creative influence of that new moon, and that is when I created the Venus Retrograde guidance that can be found in the Empressive Issue, the first issue of that zine, that digital download that is available on my website. It's really awesome. It's powerful. It's really sacred and channel guidance to help us do some transformational work through the Venus retrograde. So it's definitely available to you. The information for that will be below. But I'm ready to get back to and lean into the moon messages. This full moon is going to be very powerful. Taurus is ruled by Venus. We're in the middle of the Venus retrograde, and the full moon, I believe, will be conjunct with Uranus, which is a planet that's going to shake some things up. And so with all of that divine feminine energy, I wanted to kind of blend this moon message with some of the other cosmic and major, astrological shifts that we're experiencing so that we can just blend it and really take it all in, especially for those of you who did not get the Venus retrograde guidance or aren't a part of my Sacred Sisterhood getting the monthly coaching. I just kind of wanted to give you some deeper insights into what's going on. So there's 5 questions, and this is a spread that I created myself and was inspired to ask these questions to Spirit on our behalf. And the first is, what do I need to know about my beauty? And I was first going to say, what do I know about my beauty? But we need to know or be reminded of some things. The second thing I want to ask Spirit is, how can we better cultivate self-worth? The third is, what have we deprived ourselves of? The fourth is, what energies do we need to release around our desires and our goals? So any stagnant energy or beliefs that are outdated that we need to let go of. And the fifth question is, how can we nurture ourselves towards those goals? So instead of being harsh on ourselves or criticizing ourselves or getting down on ourselves, how can we use this feminine, mothering energy of the full moon in a very loving and gentle, luxurious sign of Taurus? So what do we need to know about our beauty? I got 2 cards, and this is Oshala, Obatala, and Oba. How can we better cultivate self-worth? Salamanders. What have we deprived ourselves of? The 3 of Water. What energies do we need to release around our goals and our desires? What outdated beliefs? What do we just need to let go of? I got this card, in my personal spread, something about a transformation that was going on in the shadows. So something we need to release. And how can we nurture ourselves towards our goals after we're releasing those attitudes? 5 of Water. So what do we need to know about our beauty? Oba has been appearing in some of the collective readings a lot, and she was a brilliant Orisha. She is an Orisha, and the story and her story as it relates to how this card is portrayed in this deck is how she allowed rumors and negativity to make her insecure to the point where she was willing to do harm to herself to keep her man. And so being paired with Oshala here, what we need to know is that everything that we believe, anything that makes us insecure, anything that makes us doubt ourselves is not of God. It is a lie. And we are here for a purpose. And that's what this card represents, really being given a mission. It's also about the divine masculine. It is also about the hero's journey. And there's what we need to know is that as we're coming into our full purpose, that the doubt that we have about our worth and our value is only keeping us from walking in the light. And so what is impacting the way we see ourselves? Is it social media? Is it comparing ourselves to other women? Instead of being inspired by other women, are we allowing ourselves to feel that we are not as worthy as if something good is happening to them? Do we believe that that good thing isn't happening to us because we are not as good as they are? They deserve it more than we do, or there's something about them that makes them more beautiful, makes them more attractive, whether it's partnership, whether it's financial success. We are really holding on to some insecurities and some lies, and it can be reflected in the way that we take care of ourselves. We may neglect ourselves externally as well. I feel that a lot of the ways that we treat our bodies externally is rooted in us not feeling like we know our purpose, or that our purpose is not linked with external beauty. And what do I mean by that? If we are on a spiritual path, we may have told ourselves that we're not into certain things, like we're not into makeup, or we're not into shopping or certain luxury items, or presenting ourselves in a certain way. We've told ourselves that that's not important to us, and we're linking that to some type of spiritual value. And so Spirit wants us to know that it's okay to be both. It's okay to be a feminine woman. It's okay to be a mother and still take care of your appearance. Yes, you have all of these other responsibilities, whether it's through your work, whether it's at home with children or being a caregiver. But part of you maintaining your self-esteem is tending to your body and treating yourself in the ways that you want to see yourself every day. How do you want to project yourself to the world? And it doesn't have to be based on anybody else's standards. It's just being honest with yourself about what you want to see when you look in the mirror, and how you're treating yourself. How is that being reflected in your daily activities? Are you harming yourself by neglect? Whether that's through physical activity, whether it's through the types of food that we're eating. How are we harming ourselves because of lies that we believe about ourselves? And what truths do we need to begin to tell ourselves to accept our beauty as our bodies are now, to accept our beauties. Because to me, this is about actual like talking bad about our bodies. I wish I had a different nose, or my breasts, or I don't have a nice butt, whatever. This is really what we need to know, is that all of this negative self-talk and comparison is really affecting our self-esteem, and it's preventing us from walking in our true purpose. Now, how do we go about cultivating self-worth? We got salamanders, and in this deck, this is about a physical healing. So if there is something that you need to do to feel more beautiful, if there are changes and adjustments that you need to make, you just need to do it, and you need to make that commitment to yourself. This isn't about weight loss necessarily. It can be. But to me, it's more about a commitment to yourself. The healing that needs to happen, the way that you begin to cultivate self-worth is by keeping the promises that you've made to yourself. Showing yourself that you can do the things that you promised yourself that you would. This also represents an older person. So if you need to seek out counsel or guidance around routines and habits, time management, money management, things that make you feel more responsible, more of a woman, more empowered, then lean into those relationships with people who you feel have that on lock or have that under control and have some wisdom and guidance to share with you. It's really, really okay to get help in those areas. We're talking about self-worth, and yes, you're an individual, but it all doesn't have to be done in private, because it could be a cycle of something that you keep struggling with, and it's okay to link up with somebody that can help you. Now, what have we deprived ourselves of? And we got the 3 of water, and that is companionship. That is friendship. That is accountability. We've isolated ourselves in ways that have diminished the way we move throughout the world and move in the world. Because alone time is great, but hiding because you're ashamed of what you feel your life is right now, it's not good enough. Like, you don't want to be compared to the people in your circle because you don't think you got this one. You do not know what these other sisters are going through. We need each other. And these relationships that you need to start cultivating are going to help lift you up, lift your spirits, bring you opportunities, remind you how beautiful you are when you look in the mirror and you don't see it. You don't see, when you're looking in the mirror, you're not seeing what God sees. These sisters are going to see you the way God sees you. And you know who these people are. You know who this circle is. You know who it is that you've been hiding from and depriving yourself of these celebrations, these get-togethers, or not showing up as your true and full self when you're with them because you're shrinking yourself because of feelings of jealousy, feelings of inadequacy. So you've kind of been like, well, let me go and get my stuff together, or, oh, I'm not where I need to be right now. So until I get to X, Y, and Z, or until I feel more comfortable, I'm not really going to fool with anybody. But you need these people, at least during this season. That is the recommendation that Spirit is giving us. That our cup is needing to be refilled, and for whatever reason, we don't have what it takes to refill it, and we're needing that community. Okay? What energies do we need to release? What beliefs do we have that we need to allow to be washed away? And we got the 7 of air. And this is about feelings of abandonment, feelings of rejection, feelings of childlike knowledge, thinking that you don't know enough to establish yourself as an expert. You don't know enough yet. You're not qualified enough yet. Helplessness. Sorry, y'all. Turn that off. I thought I muted everything. So feelings of helplessness and being really vulnerable, that is what we need to deal with. That is what we need to face right now. We are good enough. We know enough to start, and you have to start somewhere. We have to have a paradigm shift and a perspective shift about what it means to start from zero, or what it means to build something. Because of a lot of the comparison, and because of social media, because of only seeing the highlight reel of people who we feel are successful, or people who are in positions that we really admire, we're not seeing what it looked like from the beginning. And we need to embrace what it means to start something, build something, grow something, birth something. This is not a bad thing. And what's holding us back is the feeling of judgment, the feeling of insecurity that we're not going to be able to fly. These wings are not fully developed, that we're going to crash. We are, you will, and it will be okay. Failure is necessary. This fear that we have around leaning into our true purpose it's almost paralyzing, because it's keeping us stuck. And we can never think. We have a lot of ideas, and we've done this with multiple creative ideas or pursuits that we've had, and we've let it peter out because we're afraid to just start. We'll start, and the first sign of trouble, the first sign of failure, the first sign that we leave this nest and we fall to the bottom, we just quit. And, you know, nobody is going to come back. I mean, nobody's responsible, I guess I would say, for growing us up. That's just the bottom line. Our mothers, our parents may not even be with us here in the physical. If they are here, they may be ill-equipped to tell you how to run or start a business because they've never done it before. And that's why it's important for us to seek mentorship, seek help. You can feel vulnerable, but go find the people that can help you instead of staying and repeating the same mistakes over and over again and just feeling like you don't have what it takes when the resources are there. We just have to accept the fact that there's nothing wrong with starting from the bottom. There's nothing wrong with it. Now, how can we nurture ourselves into our goals? And we got the 5 of water. Now, when I see this card, I always am like, all he has to do is swim or float. Holding on to something that's not even really strong enough. Holding on to things that no longer serve us. The fear, that's just going to drown us, y'all. The survival mode is not good enough anymore. We're being asked to start walking into the light, start walking into the purpose, start thriving. And so, how can we nurture ourselves away from this fear, this vulnerability? And it's going to have to start with letting go. He can't swim. He can't get to the shore. He cannot float, breathe until he releases. So what we need to release, what do you need to release? For me, it is what people think. For me, it is comparison. For me, it is control, because I really like to know what's going to happen next. And God is like, you don't hold the future. I do. There are other elements around us that can support us. And like fools, we're holding on to the things that aren't good enough for us, that aren't strong enough to support us. The flow of the water, the power of the universe, the way that things can naturally happen with ease, we are not allowing, because we're holding on to this old stuff, these old fears. And so let yourself be guided by your unique journey and path, and let go of the control, or let go of the weak things that you kind of piecemeal together, that you're forcing, that really aren't working. Acknowledge that this is no longer working for you. You can't do this anymore. And start going with the flow. For me, this is really powerful, because it's like sometimes when you go to the cards, you're asking for like these concrete step-by-step solutions. And really all it is telling you and identifying the emotions that you're feeling that you don't want to admit to yourself. And so if you would like some affirmations for the full moon, they are in the Empressive Issue 1. And I will have some thoughts that I'll write and share if you're on my email list. If not, go to empressivelife.com and you'll start getting the newsletter. And also follow me at the Intuitive Empress on Instagram. And I will definitely do some channeled writing about this spread, about the messages that I've received. But just to summarize, our confidence and cultivating self-worth is going to start by stopping the comparison, whether that maybe we need to take a social media hiatus, or figure out what we can learn from the people that, if we're honest with ourselves, that make us feel jealous or make us feel insecure. Maybe there's some relationships where people are hurting us. We need to cut that. We need to separate from those people because they're not encouraging. Move into more healing relationships. Understand that it's okay to start from the bottom. We have to grow. And then allow the currents of the universal flow of our life to take us and lead us instead of holding on for dear life to things that really aren't serving us. So that is my message for the full moon in Taurus. Please like this video, leave a comment if you have any feedback, if this resonated with you, and feel free to email me or reach out. If you want a personal reading, those are also available on the website, empressivelife.com. Talk soon.